Thank you. Everybody should have received an email to today's presentation from the fiscal department. It's regarding just the PFRs that everybody's required to complete and submit to Karen. And in that email, there was some guidance provided to please hold on submitting your PFRs for the period of 10/1 to 12/31. So Karen, if you have any additional guidance, or Lauren, for this group after this training, feel free to share any updates and next steps. But that's all I have. So I will go ahead and kick to Lauren to get us started, unless there's other updates from Karen or Lauren that you need.
Good morning. Hmm? Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Diana. Again, thank you all for joining us this morning. My name is Lauren Katowski. I am on the fiscal monitoring team as a fiscal monitor with DCO at the Office of Employment and Training. I'm going to share my screen and share a PowerPoint today about what we'll be discussing. So today we are going to be discussing the periodic financial report, and it's just as a technical assistance session to go over some of the things that we look for when we're reviewing the documents. This is a follow-up webinar to what Josh Coons provided back in November about entering costs in the grant reporting system and entering your reimbursements. That is located in Illinois WorkNet on the shared partner page. It is a recorded TA session if you want to review it. So today we're just going to begin with some follow-up reminders from his session. So you guys are required to report all costs in the grant reporting system, GRS. They are to be reported monthly, and they are due by the 20th of the month. This allows us to review your grant expenditures and to offer any technical assistance if needed. This also allows you time to enter all your costs, so at the end of the quarter you're not rushing to complete these for when you go to do your periodic financial report or the PFR. Those due dates for your periodic financial reports, those are listed in your grant agreements if you have questions of when they are due. Normally they are due 30 days after the end of the prior quarter. All the grant costs that you're reporting in GRS must tie back to your grantee accounting systems. You are to maintain the supporting documentation for all these costs. They don't need to be provided at the time of the PFR. Those documents will be monitored by the fiscal team at a later date. As I was talking about the expenditures being reported in GRS by the 20th. So example, everything for December has to be in by January 20th of this month. If it's a Saturday or a Sunday, it has to be reported by the prior business day.
Prior?
Yes. The last business day prior to the 20th. Okay. So for guidance in reporting your costs in to JRS, everyone has a uniform budget, which is similar to the template on screen. It might not have all of the same budget expenditure categories, but at the top on your approved uniform budget, it'll have all your grant information and the total approved revenue for your grant award period. So it has each category that you're approved for underneath the budget expenditure categories. It has the corresponding uniform guidance if you have questions about what that cost should be utilized for. And then it also has the total expenditure for that category. This is an Excel document that you should have. If you don't have it, you can either ask your grant manager or your fiscal monitoring that's working with you on your PFR, because on each tab for the budget expenditure category, there is a brief definition and then more of a breakout of what you're approved to use that for. And then at the bottom, the narrative that you guys have provided DCO and how you're going to be using those grant expenditures. So it would help you and assist you if you have questions about what costs you should be utilizing for the grant and where they should be entered into GRS, because this will mimic what you see in GRS. So these are just some of the brief definitions that we have on the uniform budget. Occupancy, research and development, telecommunications, training, education, direct admin, miscellaneous, direct training, work-based training, other program, and indirect costs. One of the ones that I see grantees struggle with is the training and education. Sometimes they will put this for participants when it is actually for employee development, which is if you're sending staff for seminars or conferences regarding the grant. So the periodic financial report. So after you've done all your GRS entries and you have done all your entries into your accounting system, you're going to create what we call our periodic financial report, the PFR. So the first page of the PFR is just going to show you the report submission and the reporting requirements, if you have any questions about that. The next 2 pages outlines each data element or each field on the document and the brief instructions of what should be going into those fields. Then we get into the data element fields. So you're going to put like your grant name, your grant number. There are grayed out sections that is for state use only. So I want to note that this is an electronic form that you guys don't have to print or anything. If you just keep filling it out, you can fill it out electronically in each data element and then do a save as to the required format that we require, which I will discuss later in the presentation. And so on the last page, this is an electronic field that you can type the name of the person or the representative that's either responsible for filling out this form, the date that you will be submitting it, the email contact, and the phone number. The last portion, as you can see, is grayed out, which is for state use. So at this point, you've completed the PFR and you will save it electronically as a save as, and it's going to be your grant number. It'll be PFR and then the period ending. So coming up, the most recent period ending will be 12/31/24. And this will be saved as a separate document from all the support document, which I will discuss coming up. So now we have what we call a PFR support documentation cover page. This is also electronic. It is in a Word format, and you will fill out the top portion with your grant number, your grant name, your DUNS number, your fee number, the report period ending for that quarter that you're submitting to us, the number of pages, including this cover page. And if this is a final report, you're going to mark the final report. And at the bottom, if you ever wonder what you're supposed to be providing with this document, it's instructions. So you're going to provide the trial balance. You're going to be providing the screenshot of 362 and 371. And then 2 other documents. One is what we call a crosswalk, which is a document explaining the difference between your GL accounts and the GRS accounts. And then a bridge document explaining if there's any differences in your trial and the GRS totals. These all should be saved as a single PDF document with this as the cover page. The file name is the grant number, trial balance, and the period ending. So this is a sample of a trial balance of what we would look for. We would want to see your credits coming in for the grant expenditures. And then we would want to see all the GL accounts that the grant funds hit. And then they should all balance. If you don't have a trial balance document in your accounting system, there are some grantees that do create a similar document and provide it to us. And then next is the GRS screenshot of 362 is the subgrantee cost ledger summary page. So you want to capture all the pages of 362. So you can use the function F8 key to move forward until you reach the last page, which will have a grand total, which is the bottom screenshot. Sometimes you'll have 3 or 4, sometimes you'll have 2, sometimes you'll have 1, depending on how many costs you have in GRS. The next screenshot that we require is the 371. So this is your program income and your program interest, if you have any, for the system. This should also be taken after you've entered everything for the quarter. And as I discussed earlier, we require a crosswalk if your GL accounts don't match our GRS accounts. So this is just an example document that I've seen previously. I do have it in Excel format. I can have it shared on your partner page. So you'll just have your GL account on the left, your GL account description, the grant budget account number, which is the GRS account number, and then the description and the total from the trial balance. As you can see, some of the GRS accounts do repeat. So the travel, it says 1003, 1003. They might have multiple accounts that hit travel for RGS accounts. And then at the bottom, it's going to total the total trial balance. And then you enter your GRS total cost that you have entered into the system. And then if there's a difference in the difference field, you're going to require what we call that bridge document. You can create this in.
Morning. I'm good. How are you?
You would create what is a bridge document. It can be a Word document, and it's just a brief explanation of why something isn't tying out. It could be it was an accrual and you guys haven't entered into the system yet. So after you completed all these documents, you're going to take the cover page, your trial balance, your 362, your 371, your crosswalk, and your bridge, and you're going to save them into a single PDF document. And then you're going to save it as a file name with the grant number, trial balance, and the period ending. And this should be all one single document submitted to us. So you should be submitting 2 documents, the PFR itself, and then the PFR trial balance support document. So not only do we have for fiscal monitoring the quarterly PFR reports, we do have 2 other fiscal monitoring events coming up. The first one is going to be a cash advance review. If you remember at the beginning of your grant, you guys completed an ICQ. And based on that, you guys received if you guys were a low, medium, or high risk grantee. This is just going to be a formal monitoring of your expenditures of fiscal controls from a cash advance request that you guys submitted to us in the beginning of your grant award period. This will result in no formal findings or corrective action. It's just fiscal management recommendations. So when we do come out to do our formal grant monitoring, to avoid any potential findings, if you guys need extra TA assistance on something, if you guys are have questions or need guidance, we're going to be able to offer it during this time period. This should be coming up in the next couple months. So you will be hearing from upper leadership with DCO about this and providing you the details on this. We also have formal grant monitoring with the fiscal team. So this is the review of all the grant expenditures and fiscal compliance that's cumulative of the whole grant award period. Now this will result in formal findings that will have required corrective actions by DCO. And I know some of you have probably already dealt with our team, but as we come up to this fiscal monitoring and working on your PFRs, so this is our team. So we have Tamika Chisholm. She's our fiscal programmatic monitoring manager, and her contact is there. Then we have Chris Neerman, Eric Bennett, Carrie Bradford, Kavita Chokish, and myself, Lauren Kantowski. We make up the fiscal monitor team across the state. And all of our contact information is here for you to have. If you have any questions about PFRs, any monitoring that we're working with you on, or if at any time you have questions about uniform guidance, we're here to guide you and provide you assistance on anything moving forward. So that's just a brief overview of what we expect for our PFR and our quarterly reports that you guys submit to us. Do you guys have any questions for us that we can help you with? Let me check the chat. So we are recording this meeting. The PFR, it says, is the PFR available in Excel? It is not available in Excel. So if you guys do not have a cash advance, there wouldn't be any cash advance review. Okay. So Penny's asking me to go over what should be submitted. So you should have one document that is the PFR itself, and it should be saved with the grant name, the grant number, PFR, and period ending as one PDF document. And then you should have another PDF document, which should be the PFR support documentation cover page with the trial balance, the 362 screenshot, the 371 screenshot, a crosswalk, and a bridge document if you have a difference. And that should be saved as one document, and it should be the grant number, trial balance, and the period ending. And then another question is when the slide should be available in the next couple days to all you. It should be on it will be on the shared partner page. Does anyone have any other questions? I'm going to open up the floor to my fiscal team because I know my fiscal team is on with me. Does my fiscal team have any follow-up to what I presented today? Chris, Eric?
Good morning, everyone. This is Eric Bennett. I am a fiscal monitor, and I'm primarily out of the Chicago office. Some of you all I've worked with before, so thank you all for joining us today. And I'd just like to reiterate what Lauren was saying, that basically the PFR is something we've got to get done, and what really holds us up is when we can't get the accounting right. So it's always best to work with your accounting people. We say work with your program as well as accounting together so that you have your budgets and payments and things like that, disbursements all in line. And so again, as you start to do these monthly things, that always works best as you go down the road. But thanks, Lauren, you did a great job. I think you hit all the topics.
Thank you, Eric. Anyone else from the fiscal team?
Lauren, this is Chris Nerman. How are you?
Good, Chris, how are you?
I just wanted to make sure everyone understood that on the revenue side of the trial balance, to report, you have to show an accounts receivable or cash that you received it but haven't spent all the money yet. So therefore, it still has to balance. On the final, Tamika and I have talked about this. It has to be, all the money has to be spent. You cannot submit a final until all of the money is spent or you've refunded the money that you received that you don't need. Maybe you can help me explain that a little clearer, Lauren, but does that make sense what I'm saying?
It makes perfect sense. Thank you for bringing that point up, Chris. Okay, so there's confusion about the 20th and the 30 reporting dates. So monthly, you guys are required to put all your costs in for the prior month by the 20th. So for example, all your December cost should be in by the 20th, but the actual PFR and the support documentation is due by the 30th. normally. There are dates in your grant agreements that list out the dates, but historically they have been by the 30th. And yes, we will be sending this presentation out. Does anyone have any other questions? Oh, is the fiscal team assigned to certain regions? So we are not assigned to specific regions, but I know like Chris and Carrie do Southern and like the middle, and then myself, Eric, and Kavita, we do more of the northern to the middle. We kind of meet in the middle of the state. I can have Karen sent out documents today, but they are already out on Illinois WorkNet in the CEJA Series partner pages. They were presented earlier in the year. Are there any other questions? Okay. If you guys have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to myself or any of the fiscal monitors, or you can reach out to Karen, and then she can always forward them to us if she can't answer them. But we're all here as a team to support you guys on any technical assistance that you guys need for helping with your grant. So,
Lauren, I'm still seeing questions come in the chat. So again, the deadline for the PFR is on the 30th of the month following the close of the quarter. So if you look at your grant agreement, it's in the very back of the grant agreement, specific dates. But for this quarter, October 1st through December 31st, the report is due January 30th. It's always on the 30th, you know, work around holidays and weekends, but it's always due on the 30th following the close of the quarter for the quarterly reports.
Alicia, you raised your hand. You can unmute yourself.
Yeah, thanks. I'm a little bit confused because at the beginning of this presentation, we were told, and I honestly don't remember receiving an email to this effect, but maybe my financial person did, that Karen had sent an email telling us to hold off on submitting our PFRs.
Yes.
And
Until you attended this session.
until we attended this session. Okay. All right. I think that's where the confusion is coming in the questions. So you still want us to submit it by the 30th of this month?
Yes,
only
I just
after
didn't
we
want to
have-
have to return everyone's documents and say, fix this, fix this, fix this.
Great.
Until everyone had had a chance to.
Great. Thanks for the clarification. I appreciate it, Karen.
Any other questions? Okay.
I see a question in the chat from Micah asking, what is the timeline for payment once submitted for the review and payment processing?
Micah, I don't know that question because I'm not in accounting.
There's not a specific formula to it, but I know that, let's see, where is it at? I know I have this from Josh. So basically they're due on the 20th and they're processed on specific days. But there's not like a perfect formula for exactly what the availability date is. Let me dig around a little bit and see if I can get a better ballpark, and I will include some type of remark in the email I send out with the documents.
All right, any other questions for today? So is the PFR support document for the quarter 12/31/24 due on the January 20th? Joe, that is not. That is due when the PFR is due. Those two documents should be sent together by the 30th for the prior quarter. All right. Any other questions before I end the webinar?
Yes.
Okay, Marilyn, what is your question?
My question is, can you please email all the documents that need to be completed? I have the PFR, but all the other forms that we need to complete.
That's going out today. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
When Karen sends out, I see a question about the naming convention. When Karen sends out the email, we can include the naming convention. Karen, if you can put that in the email for them, because it seems like,
Yes, and it's also on the cover sheet that will be coming out. So I'll add that to it though.
and when you send out the email today, if we can put the PowerPoint in there, but can you list out the fiscal team contact separately so they have that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? Okay, you're all very welcome. Thank you for all your questions. And if you have anything follow up, please feel free to reach out to myself or any of my team members. Karen, she can assist you. We'll have all of the stuff sent out today, the PowerPoint, the PFR support documentation, and the contacts for the fiscal team. And I thank you all for joining us on this webinar to discuss the periodic reports that are due for review quarterly. And I hope you all have a great day.
Ramonda, I see your question about the GRS training. I can also add the PowerPoint for GRS training to this email that will go out today. And there are recordings of that as well, but I will go ahead and add that to the list of documents to go out.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
Okay.
everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.